Hello! It's been a while since I have recorded a video, and I really wanted to make a new one. And I I decided to record another one since it's the end of the year, like last year, on the 3rd of January to be more precise. I redrew an old picture that I had drawn in 2018, I think. Then, I did another one in 2019, always of the same drawing, and now I'm doing it again. So yeah, we're back at it. So when I redraw an old picture like this one, I mean, it's so weird to look at my old art. I get mixed feelings about it. I'm really happy I kept drawing, even though many times I felt either frustrated or sad that my art wasn't where I wanted it to be. And I think it's a feeling that many of us go through many times. It's not a thing that ever truly goes away. I think it's like a wave, right? Sometimes you feel really happy about your art, and other times you aren't very happy with it. I mean, you feel like you are your art level is not where you want it to be. That happens, I think, when you're ready to make a leap. When you're about to get better, you kind of get this feeling of, ugh, what am I drawing? Oh my god, is this my art? What is? But no. But, but anyway, yeah, that's the feeling you get sometimes. You feel disheartened, you feel like you can draw the way you want, as I said, and sometimes that can be really bad. You get kind of art blocked. That's my case. When I feel like I can't draw what I want because I'm not there yet, but I'm about to get there. Usually I practice, so I just draw things that don't require me using my creativity. I mean, of course, every drawing you make requires some level of creativity, but when you're practicing, usually you are copying from references, or if you're lucky enough, you are drawing from real life models or things like that. Not everyone, unfortunately, goes to art classes and things like that. I never went to art classes, so I kind of had to teach myself the art classes. I follow lots of tutorials on YouTube. Tutorials are cool and good, but they're useful only if you actually put in practice what they tell you, right? Sometimes, like, it's easy to get stuck in the spiral of art tutorials. You watch a lot of them and then you don't actually follow the advice. It's not like you don't want to, but you get the lazy, right? And sometimes it's just too much information to absorb all at once. But eventually, maybe while you are drawing, you will remember about that advice they gave you and try to put it into practice. Some things that I have learned this year, I think. Absolutely, at least this drawing has perspective. My old one, the old version, the 2019 version of this drawing, didn't have a lot of that. It was a pretty flat picture. and it kind of has the same perspective that you can find in um, I think Japanese art, you know, those old like the wave, which is a very famous picture of that kind, where everything is pretty flat and perspective is the idea of perspective is given through um, like when you put something else on the foreground and which is bigger, and other things in the background that are smaller, and therefore you give the illusion of having different planes when you actually are not using perspective. Kind of the illusion of perspective in a way. And yeah, in this another improvement, of course, I gave more details to the background. Not many, because I didn't want to spend like lots and lots of time on this picture, but I was happy nonetheless, because the last picture basically had no background. Also, I really like the house of this that I drew in this picture, because at least it's a functional house. For some reason in the old drawing I put it on tiny wood legs, metaphorical legs. They are not real legs, but yeah, wood legs. And yeah, it didn't make much sense, because houses that are in the mountains are not built like that. Usually they have very sharp and narrow roofs, so that snow falls down at least and doesn't get stuck on the roof. At least the mountain houses that we have here in Italy, then I don't know how if the architecture is the same where you live, but anyway. Then yeah, I drew the house and all of that, and yeah, I kind of like the house. Another thing I did was lots of like, oh yeah, studies of backgrounds. Like I took pictures and I drew over them, then I tried to recreate them just by copying, or I tried to figure out the perspective they used, and slowly I'm starting to get a better grasp of perspective, which is a thing I used to struggle with. Not because I didn't know how perspective worked, because I know the principles. I know 1 point, 2 point, 3 point perspective, and however, it's a thing to know the theory, and another thing to actually draw, to put in practice what you have learned. So basically, here I kind of put in practice, as I said. The picture makes more sense in general. And yeah, I use the mountains, the house, then there is this space in the background too. Also, empty space is very important in pictures. I think I do it instinctively, like I don't think that much about negative space. I try to, of course, but maybe it's not a thing I've learned very well yet. I'm trying to. But I do it by instinct, and in this picture I gave lots of space to the sky, because that's one of the points of the picture, right? Because they are stargazing, you call it like that. I was about to say star watching. I make up my own words. If I don't know a word, I will come up with one. Also about colors, I think color is one of the things I've always been good at. I don't want to blow my own horn, but I've always liked colors, and I don't know. I'm reporting what other people tell me. They often tell me that they like how I use color and the colors I pick. I don't know, honestly. I like the result. I usually try to go either by different tints and hues of the same color, like in this case, or of the trees and all. um, or I try to use analogous, you call them like that, right? Those colors that are either on the left or the right of the. When you look at the color wheel, the analogous colors are those colors that are close to the one that you chose. For example, oh my god, I don't have the color wheel right under my eyes now, right? I can look at it, but basically are the colors that are either on the left or on the right of the color you picked. So those usually look really nice. Then there are the complementaries and all of that, but working with complementaries can either look really good or look really bad because they contrast so much. Sometimes I think if you tone them down, they can look really good. It depends. So I think I got better at colors this year, and also in general I think I got better at shapes. What I mean by that is that 3D, to think in 3D, basically to think of things as objects in a 3D space. And I used to tell myself to think like that even when I didn't have that much of a grasp on this concept. But it was hard. Like it's as if my eye couldn't get it. My brain got it. My eye didn't. Something like that. And I was like, oh no. Something that helps, usually, at least this helped me, is to draw blocks in when you're using perspective, for example, and you can't understand the placing of a complicated object, such as a person, which is a complicated object. You put a big rectangle first, then you put it in perspective and you guess everything from there, basically the position of everything in the person, arms, legs and all. Even though those are kind of secondary things to think about, one of the main things you have to think about when you draw something, and to understand the weight of the person, where they are, how to place them in space, is the torso, the torso and the head. Basically that's it. Then everything else comes second. In a way, they are accessories. We're just floating heads in space, which is kind of creepy to think about. And yeah, so here I'm also watching the speed paint with you, and here I'm painting the house. This is not really painting, because this is just putting flat colors, giving flat colors, and yeah, I didn't even use complex shading in this drawing, as you will see going on. But yeah. So one of the points I wanted to make in this video, by talking about things I've improved, stuff like that, is that you should be really grateful for your old art, for your old sucky art that you can barely look at. Because if it wasn't for that art, you wouldn't be here now, you wouldn't be better now. And this is also kind of a message to myself, I guess, because I've been feeling better about what I draw. I have so many things to learn, but I'm always happy that, in a way, I'm happy that there is so much more to learn, and I hope to get better. And I'm really glad I went through, I didn't give up when I felt more like my art wasn't that good, or that my art wasn't couldn't express what I wanted it to express, because I didn't have the means to do it yet. I'm really glad I went through with it, even when I wasn't very satisfied, or I was frustrated, as I said at the in the beginning. When I was frustrated because my art didn't look like I wanted it to be, like kind of my aesthetic sense told me one thing, and then my hand could only do that. Yeah. Also, another thing that I'd like to say is that your drawings don't, like, when you are trying to understand the placement of things, you can be messy. If you saw, of course, if you're listening to me now, hopefully you saw the beginning of the video, but I wanted to include the sketching process of this drawing, because when I sketch and I'm not sure how to place things, I'm not sure how to give symmetry to stuff and all of that, I take notes on my own drawings. Like, I will make more construction lines. I will help myself. Why shouldn't I? And you should do that too. Like, don't be like, you don't have to come up instantly with the perfect drawing. You can build up your drawings. The people who can, like, draw something out of nothing are people who have been drawing for so long that they have the structures in their heads. They don't even need grids anymore. But the grid is there. It's just that you don't see it, right? So don't be afraid to take notes on your drawings. Like, I think the construction shapes and all those lines that we make, we need them, like, they need to have a purpose. We need to use them, to put them to good use. Like, sometimes I see people who are learning to draw, and I think also about myself, of course, who put the lines on the face, and like when you're constructing a face and you put the lines for the eyes, the nose and the mouth, and you don't understand really the right positioning. Like, in a way, you are just replicating things you see other people do, and you don't even know why, in a way. I mean, you know why, because of course, but you are trying to do it their way, while of course it's good to exercise and to try other people, the way other people do things, so that you can find your own. But usually when you find your way, that's what you really need. Like, for example, I sometimes I draw only a line for the eyes, but other times I actually draw kind of glasses to make the eyes, as if the character was wearing a mask, because that helps me so much to understand the planes of the face. I don't know, that helps me. Maybe you can try it out. I'm not even sure anymore if I did it in this drawing, but maybe if you saw me streaming, a thing that I usually do on Picarto. I don't stream very often because I have to study and do other things because I go to university. But when I stream, you can see how I sketch faces and all of that. Maybe if I stream here, you can recover the old streams without, because a problem on Picarto is that you can't save streams if you don't have a premium account, I think. I'm not very informed when it comes to these kind of things. I use lots of YouTube, and Picarto is a thing that I learned later. So this hand, man, I understand. I didn't want to put too much time in this drawing, as I said, even though it took me some time, like an hour and 45 minutes maybe. I'm not sure. I should check. But actually, the time you need to make something doesn't mean all that much. Um, actually, I care about the time I need only when I notice that I got faster. That's what matters to me, not like I needed 20 hours to make this painting. Okay, it's fine, of course, if that's the kind of art you like to do, like to spend lots of time on a piece. I personally am a person who. I personally am a person. Wow. Personally, I like to do, like, I'm a storyteller mostly, so and I adore to draw, of course, but I like to tell stories with my drawings. So and I like to do comics, so make comics. So when I draw, I try to go fast. I try to be as fast as I can. Of course, I take my time, but I'm really happy when I get to a point where I can do something that I used to be really slow at in less time. Basically, that's a thing that always makes me happy to see that I got faster. Yeah, sometimes this background would have taken me ages once. Man. So yeah, that makes me really happy. And I don't know if you, of course, you saw that I was using Procreate here. I wasn't using Clip Studio, which is usually is my go-to program. But I really do love Procreate. I love it a lot, and I wanted to share speed paint taken from that program. It's so easy to record on the iPad. Personally, Clip Studio has introduced that new speed paint feature, and which is very cool. But I don't know if you can maybe decompress the videos later, like, because what you can do on Clip Studio is record time lapses, so they're very quick. I think maximum 70 seconds. And actually, I like to see, speed paints, those tiny clips of 60 seconds are very cool if you want to see the drawing like magically being made. But I'm a lot more interested on videos where the screen is recorded and you can see what the person drawing did, because that way you can learn from them. If they did something, you can try to replicate it, you can go back, go forward, and yeah, you can learn a lot more from speed paint that lets you see everything, even the sketch, than from tiny 60-second clip. Those are more to show very quickly your how your drawing was made, but they don't get into details, right? I like both, but I prefer to this kind of videos where people just talk about whatever and they draw and they show you their drawings. I listen to so many of these videos, like kind of even rambly videos such as this one, because I don't have a script, I'm just talking. And I had a theme in mind that was your sucky, you have to be proud of your old sucky art because you pushed through that, And there will be times when you will be unhappy again about your art, but you will get better and you will be satisfied with it again, and the cycle will repeat again and again and again. So it's kind of uplifting, also frustrating, but it will give you satisfaction eventually. Yeah, so be proud of your efforts, because some people don't even try, because when they fail they throw in the towel. And I'm not saying that you should feel bad for that, because it happens that you throw in the towel, it's fine. But I mean, try, if you really care about something, try to go on, even though it feels bad sometimes. And yeah, so as I said before, I really like Procreate. I was, and is kind of it fits with this video, that I was frustrated with Procreate once. I used to be so frustrated with it because I couldn't draw properly on gliding glass, the thing, the glass of the iPad basically, and I tried to use screen protectors that had like kind of rough texture, but they consumed my Apple Pencil, the tip of the pencil, so they made things worse actually. Then I got tired of it. I took off the rough texture cover, and then I started to love Procreate again, I guess. Also, I got into it more and more because I made an Undertale sticker pack by using Procreate, and that forced me to use it, basically, to use it more. And I'm really glad that I pushed through, even with Procreate, because I used to not like it very much. I was very frustrated with the stabilizer because it works so differently than Clip Studios. I felt like it slowed down your line art so much, or it kind of warped it. I don't know. It really it felt bad. But now it feels so good to draw on Procreate. I really love it. It's very intuitive with all the touch gestures. Also, I watched lots of videos on shortcuts in a way. For example, a trick that you can use when you want to put together two layers. You don't have always to open the menu and like go to the level with your pencil and then make push what is it, like merge down, the merge down button. You can just take the two levels you want to merge together with the tips of your fingers and push them together. And I was blown away. I was like, oh, I discovered hot water. I am now able to merge layers. But anyway, yeah, it's been also fun to learn shortcuts and all of that. They are not that hard once you get used to them. And yeah, what else? If you want to know the brushes I use on Procreate, I really love the Procreate pencil for sketching. Also, sometimes for line art, if I'm feeling like I want to do a more like rough looking piece. I also really like ink bleed for inking. That's my favorite thing, together with this dry ink brush that I'm using now. And yeah, sometimes I do line art with a dry ink, but I really like it for shading. As you can see here, I like to do hard shadows with this one, because it has kind of that paper texture with those tiny dots of dryness in it. And yeah, I think it looks cool. Wow, my vocabulary is so big. It looks cool. But what else? Other brushes I like, but I mean, there are a lot of them. I don't use the painterly brushes very much, so I use mainly inking brushes, and I'm using the default brushes a lot. Even though I bought some cool brush packs from Gumroad, I think. One is the the rusty nib package, but I don't use it very often because I bought it with a commercial license, but I'm afraid to that it will bite me back or something. So I use it for my things that I do for myself, or yeah, not commercial stuff. Even though I do have the commercial license, because you have to pay more whether you use it for something for different purposes. Basically, for personal use, it costs less. I bought it for commercial license, but it's like limited, so I always get anxious, even though there's no way that 200,000 people will see this. There's no way. So I'm safe, but at the same time I'm paranoid. So it's better like this. Another other packs that I found. There are lots of them, and you can also find free stuff that looks really cool. But right now, if I'm completely honest, I fell back on the default brushes, so I'm basic. that's the tea. I'm basic. But I really like how the ink bleed brush looks, and I was looking for a similar brush on Clip Studio, and I found a similar pencil on Clip Studio, which is really cool. A pencil similar to the Procreate pencil, which I really love. I don't know why I love it so much. It's very digital looking, but also rough looking at the same time, and I don't know. I like it. So here I was almost done with the shading. I was shading the characters, which is one of the most satisfying things to do. Like you're starting to see where things are going, light wise at least. Oh, I didn't even tell you what this picture is about. Awesome. Basically, as I said before, though. I said this before. I said that they were stargazing, but they would also listen to music. So it's very moody. It's very. It's moody, very angsty. And however, I forgot to draw the MP3 they were using. So in this picture, we can pretend that they are using Bluetooth wireless thingies to listen to music. Why don't I remember the word? Headphones. Those things, which are pink, which is very cool. And yeah, that's it basically. The drawing is almost done, I think. And then I was doing the final highlights, and I tried to use kind of a texture thing to make the light of the moonlight, because it's moody. I was trying to erase some shading, because sometimes when I want things to look softer, I erase some of it with a softer brush. But yeah, I still wanted to use a texture brush, and I think I didn't like how it looked very much in the end, so I did a double tap to cancel to erase the changes I had made to the shading. Overall, I liked how this picture turned out, and I was blown away when I looked at the old version of this drawing, because only like not even a year had passed when I drew this. Basically, I did the old piece in January and I made this in December, and so many things changed, and I was really happy about that. So, yeah, I my mouth is really dry right now. I spoke for so long. I can do it anymore. I think I will leave you to the end of the video because there's not much else that I did. I just blurred the stars because so they look more shiny, and I made an add layer, and more or less that's it. So I will leave it to the end, and I will see you in the next video if I make one. It's all uncertain, like the future. It's 2021. Everything is very uncertain, even though we are all hoping for the best. And I really do wish you the best to everyone. So have a nice year and be kinder to yourself when it comes to your art that you didn't like. Bye.